In the heart of Hong Kong, amidst the glittering skyline and the restless energy of the city, there lived a woman who epitomized grace and ambition. Abby Choi, a name that resonated through the high society circles of this bustling metropolis, was more than just a socialite. She was a symbol of elegance and success. Born on July 11, 1994, Abby's life was a tapestry woven with threads of luxury and splendor. Her mixed Asian heritage bestowed upon her an exotic beauty that turned heads in the most exclusive gatherings. She was the scion of a wealthy family, rooted deeply in the lucrative realms of construction business in mainland China. The world saw Abby as the epitome of a modern woman, a successful model, a social media influencer with over 111,000 followers who hung onto her every post, and an entrepreneur who navigated the complexities of the business world with finesse. Her life was like a perfectly choreographed dance on a stage of luxury, each step a testament to her hard work and determination. Abby's personal life, too, was a subject of much fascination. She was a mother to two beautiful children, her most cherished roles, embodying the tender balance of a nurturing mother and a dynamic social figure. Her past, marked by a marriage to Alex Kwong, still whispered secrets and tales that many yearned to know. But beneath the veneer of this seemingly perfect life, there lurked a shadow, a prelude to a tragedy that no one could have foreseen. Abby, the dazzling star of Hong Kong's high society, was about to become the centerpiece of a story so shocking, so unimaginable, that it would shake the very foundations of the world she knew. As the city of Hong Kong bustled under the neon lights, Abby Choi, unaware of the dark twist her fate was about to take, continued to weave her story, a story that was soon to be cut tragically short. The stage was set, the players unknowingly in place, and the curtain was about to rise on a tale of intrigue, mystery, and heartbreak. Abby Choi's life, celebrated and envied by many, was about to take a turn into an abyss from which there would be no return. The day began like any other in the vibrant city of Hong Kong, a mosaic of hurried footsteps and soaring ambitions. But in the lavish abode of Abby Choi, an unsettling silence loomed. It was February 21, 2023, a date that would soon be etched in the city's collective memory, a turning point in a tale of glamour and gore. Abby, known for her punctuality and meticulous nature, had a simple routine on this day: to pick up her daughter from school. But the clock ticked on, and Abby was nowhere to be seen. Her absence was like a ripple in still water, unsettling and unexpected. Concern turned to worry, and soon, worry morphed into fear. The Choi family, ensconced in their world of affluence and influence, felt a chill of foreboding. Calls went unanswered, and Abby's social media, usually abuzz with her latest escapades, fell ominously silent. Her family, realizing the gravity of the situation, sounded the alarm. The Hong Kong police were notified, and thus began a frantic search for one of the city's most recognizable faces. The city, which had always buzzed with the energy of the unattainable, now echoed with whispers and speculations. "Where is Abby Choi?" became the question on every lip, in every corner of the metropolis. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the high society and beyond, stirring a cocktail of rumors and theories. The police, sifting through the early pieces of the puzzle, found their first lead: Abby's last known location. CCTV footage, the unblinking eyes of the city, captured her entering a car, not knowing it would be her last journey in the public eye. The driver, later identified as her former brother-in-law, was the last person to see her alive. As the night enveloped the city, the twinkling lights of Hong Kong seemed to flicker in uncertainty. The disappearance of Abby Choi was not just a missing persons case. It was the beginning of a mystery that would unravel in the most horrifying and unimaginable ways. A storm was brewing in the heart of Hong Kong, and at its center was the enigmatic and elegant Abby Choi, whose fate was now a labyrinth of shadows and whispers. The dawn of February 24, 2023, broke over Hong Kong with a grim revelation that sent shivers down the spine of the city. In the serene outskirts of Tai Po, a quaint village that usually hummed with the simple routines of daily life, lay a discovery so macabre that it seemed to belong to the darkest of tales. Hidden away in a nondescript village house, a place far removed from the glitz and glamour of Abby Choi's world, lay the answer to the question that had gripped the city. But it was an answer so brutal, so inhumane, that it defied belief. Abby Choi, the dazzling socialite of Hong Kong, had been found murdered, her life extinguished in the most barbaric manner. Her headless body, a gruesome testament to the savagery of her assailants, was discovered in a chilling state of dismemberment. The horror did not end there. In a spine-chilling twist, parts of her body were found concealed within the cold confines of a refrigerator, while others, in a ghastly act of desecration, were cooked. The air in Hong Kong turned heavy with dread as news of the discovery spread like wildfire. The city, which had followed Abby's disappearance with bated breath, now recoiled in horror at the fate that had befallen her. The high society circles, once her playground, were now awash with disbelief and mourning. The police, faced with a scene that seemed torn from a nightmare, sprang into action. The tranquil village of Tai Po, with its rustic charm, had become the epicenter of a crime that was as complex as it was heinous. The serene streets, usually resonant with the sounds of everyday life, were now silent, as if in mourning for the tragedy that had unfolded in their midst. In the midst of the chaos, a troubling question emerged. Who could have committed such an atrocity? Who could have harbored such malice against Abby Choi, a woman celebrated for her grace and vivacity? The investigation, already underway, would now take a darker turn, delving into the depths of human depravity to uncover the truth behind Abby Choi's tragic end. As the sun set on that fateful day, the glittering lights of Hong Kong seemed dimmed by grief. A city that prided itself on its vibrancy and vitality was now grappling with a darkness that lurked in its very heart. Abby Choi, once a radiant star in its sky, had been extinguished in the most horrific manner, leaving behind a tale of sorrow, mystery, and a quest for justice that was just beginning. In the shadow of the towering skyscrapers and amidst the ceaseless hum of Hong Kong, a determined team of investigators set out to unravel the mystery surrounding Abby Choi's brutal murder. The city, still reeling from the shock of the gruesome discovery, watched with bated breath as the police delved into the depths of a case that was as complex as it was chilling. Led by seasoned detectives, the investigation team began piecing together the final moments of Abby's life. The puzzle was intricate, with each piece more confounding than the last. They started at the beginning, tracing Abby's steps on the day of her disappearance. The CCTV footage, silent witnesses to her last known movements, provided the first crucial leads. The focus quickly turned to the individuals in Abby's orbit, her complex personal life, marked by her high-profile status and her past marriage, became a tapestry of potential motives and suspects. The police combed through her relationships, both personal and professional, searching for the thread that would lead them to her killer. Amidst the investigation, a startling discovery was made. The driver of the car in which Abby was last seen, her former brother-in-law, became a person of interest. His proximity to Abby in her final hours placed him under a glaring spotlight, but he was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. The police worked tirelessly, sifting through evidence, interviewing witnesses, and following every lead. The city's underbelly, often hidden beneath its glittering surface, began to reveal its secrets. Every clue was a step closer to the truth, but the path was labyrinthine, fraught with twists and turns. As days turned into nights and nights into days, the team tirelessly pursued every avenue. The case had taken on a life of its own, gripping not just the investigators but the entire city. Hong Kong was a place where stories of triumph and tragedy were written every day, but Abby Choi's story had struck a chord that resonated in the heart of every resident. The investigation into Abby Choi's murder was more than a quest for justice. It was a journey into the darkest corners of human nature. It was a battle against time, against the fading trails of evidence, against the silence of those who held the key to solving the puzzle. As the city watched and waited, the investigators pressed on, knowing that in their hands lay the responsibility of bringing closure to a tale that had shaken the very soul of Hong Kong. As the neon lights of Hong Kong flickered in the night, casting shadows on the bustling streets, a breakthrough emerged in the investigation of Abby Choi's murder. The police, having untangled a web of relationships and motives, made their first move, signaling the beginning of a series of startling arrests and revelations. The first to be taken into custody was the man who had been at the center of the investigation from the beginning. Abby's former brother-in-law, the driver of the vehicle in which she was last seen. His arrest sent ripples through the city, hinting at a deeper, more sinister plot behind Abby's tragic demise. But the drama did not end there. In a swift succession of events, the police arrested Abby's ex-husband, Alex Kwong, the man with whom she had once shared her life. The revelation stunned the public, as the narrative took a turn towards the tragic complexities of familial ties gone awry. The arrests continued, each one more shocking than the last. Next were the parents of Alex Kwong, former in-laws of Abby, ensnaring the family in a net of suspicion and betrayal. The involvement of her former family painted a dark picture of a dispute turned deadly, a feud that had escalated into unimaginable violence. The plot thickened with the arrest of the alleged mistress of Abby's former father-in-law, a twist that added layers of intrigue and illicit relationships into the already complex case. The connections were intricate, each suspect intertwined in a saga that spanned years of hidden animosity and secret dealings. As each suspect was apprehended, the media and public pieced together a narrative that was as riveting as it was horrifying. The characters in this real-life drama were no longer just names. They became embodiments of human frailty and malice. With every revelation, the case of Abby Choi transformed from a mere investigation into a tale of greed, jealousy, and familial discord. The once respected figures in Abby's life were now central characters in a gruesome tragedy, their masks of normalcy stripped away to reveal the darkest aspects of human nature. Hong Kong, a city accustomed to tales of success and ambition, found itself engrossed in a story of a different kind. It was a tale that exposed the fragility of relationships, the depths of hatred, and the devastating consequences of unresolved conflicts. As the suspects awaited their fate behind bars, the city awaited the unfolding of the next chapter in the tragic saga of Abby Choi, a story that had become a mirror to the complexities of the human heart. In the heart of Hong Kong, beneath its shimmering skyline, the motives behind Abby Choi's brutal murder began to unravel like a dark tapestry, revealing a story of greed, betrayal, and a family feud that had turned fatally toxic. The city, once captivated by Abby's elegance and grace, now found itself plunged into the depths of her tragically twisted personal life. As the investigation deepened, the central motive that emerged was as old as time itself, a dispute over money and property. At the crux of this deadly conflict was a luxury apartment, a symbol of wealth and status in the prestigious Kadori Hill of Kowloon Tong. This property, believed to be bought by Abby before being transferred under her former father-in-law Kwong Kao's name, became the focal point of a bitter and escalating dispute. Kwong Kao, a former policeman with a past shrouded in allegations, was revealed to be the mastermind behind the heinous crime. His displeasure with how Abby was handling the property affairs set off a chain of events that culminated in the unthinkable. The luxury apartment, once a symbol of success, had morphed into a catalyst for murder. The family dynamics further complicated the plot. Alex Kwong, Abby's ex-husband, was entangled in his father's schemes, his loyalty to family clashing with the remnants of his past relationship with Abby. The involvement of his brother and the alleged mistress of his father painted a picture of a family united in their sinister intentions, driven by greed and a desire to control the coveted property. As the police pieced together the narrative, the public was left grappling with the realization that behind the facade of wealth and familial bonds lay a cesspool of greed and malice. The betrayal was not just personal. It was a betrayal of the very essence of family and trust. This revelation struck a chord in the heart of Hong Kong, a city where family ties are held sacred, and wealth is often a measure of success. The story of Abby Choi's murder was no longer just a criminal case. It had become a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked greed and the corrosive nature of family disputes when mixed with wealth and prestige. The city watched in morbid fascination as the layers of the case were peeled back, each layer exposing the ugly truths that lay beneath the surface of a seemingly perfect family. As the true motives came to light, the tragic tale of Abby Choi served as a grim reminder of the destructive power of greed and the fragility of human relationships, even among those bound by blood. The saga of Abby Choi's murder had morphed from a tragic mystery into a legal drama, unfolding within the solemn walls of Hong Kong's judiciary. The city, once buzzing with the frenetic energy of commerce and culture, now found its attention riveted on the courtroom, where the fate of those accused in Abby's murder was to be determined. As the court convened, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The suspects, once part of Abby's inner circle, now faced the gravitas of the law. At the forefront was Alex Kwong, Abby's ex-husband, whose expression was a complex tapestry of remorse and defiance. Beside him stood his brother and their father, Kwong Ka, the alleged mastermind whose steely gaze belied the gravity of his situation. The involvement of his mother and the alleged mistress added layers of familial betrayal to the proceedings. The prosecution presented a case that was both meticulous and damning. Evidence was laid bare, bloodstains matching Abby's DNA in her former brother-in-law's car, the chilling discovery of her dismembered body, and over 30 exhibits, including weapons that told a silent story of premeditation and cruelty. Each piece of evidence was like a nail in the coffin of the defense's case, painting a picture of a murder most foul. The defense, in turn, attempted to navigate the intricacies of the law, seeking cracks in the prosecution's armor. But the evidence was overwhelming, and the public sentiment strong. The courtroom became a battleground where legal expertise clashed, each side fighting for their version of the truth in the shadow of Abby's tragic demise. In Hong Kong, a city that prides itself on its legal system, the case of Abby Choi was a testament to the pursuit of justice. The trial was more than just a legal proceeding. It was a narrative of a society grappling with issues of wealth, family conflict, and the moral compass of its citizens. As the days of the trial progressed, the public hung onto every detail, every twist and turn of the legal saga. The courtroom became a theater, and the trial a drama that captured the complexities of human relationships and the depths to which they can descend. Through the course of the trial, the memory of Abby Choi loomed large. Her life, once celebrated in the social pages of magazines, was now a story being told in a courtroom, a cautionary tale about the fragility of life and the dark potential of human nature. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the city of Hong Kong waited with bated breath for a resolution, a closure to a story that had touched the hearts and minds of many. The trial of Abby Choi's murder was not just a quest for justice. It was a journey into the heart of human darkness, and a society's attempt to find light in its aftermath. The revelation of the gruesome details surrounding Abby Choi's murder sent a ripple of shock and disbelief through the bustling streets and towering high-rises of Hong Kong. The city, a melting pot of cultures and stories, found itself united in its reaction to the tragedy. From the teeming markets of Kowloon to the polished boardrooms of Central, the tale of Abby's demise transcended the barriers of class and creed, touching the hearts of a diverse populace. As the story unfolded in the media, the public was drawn into a narrative that read like a tragic novel. Cafes and public transport buzzed with hushed conversations about the latest developments. People who had never met Abby felt a connection to her story, empathizing with her plight and expressing outrage at the brutality of her end. The high society, of which Abby was once a shining star, was particularly shaken. In the exclusive clubs and luxury boutiques where Abby was known and admired, Her acquaintances and friends grappled with a sense of loss and disbelief. The glittering social events, which Abby used to grace, now had an air of melancholy, her absence a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Hong Kong's diverse communities, from expatriates to local residents, were united in their shock and grief. Vigils were held, with people from all walks of life coming together to pay their respects. Social media was awash with tributes to Abby, as people shared memories and expressed their condolences. The impact of the murder was not limited to the emotional realm. The case sparked discussions about issues of domestic violence, wealth disparity, and the moral decay within affluent families. Abby's story became a catalyst for dialogue and reflection, prompting many to question the values and priorities of contemporary society. In the bustling streets of Mongkok, street artists painted murals depicting Abby, turning their art into a form of silent protest and remembrance. In the serene parks and temples, people offered prayers for her soul, seeking spiritual solace in a time of collective mourning. The city, known for its resilience and vibrancy, found itself pausing to reflect on the tragic tale. The shock of Abby Choi's murder was a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most glittering facades. Hong Kong, in its grief, became a community united in its desire to seek justice and make sense of a senseless act, proving that even in the darkest of times, there can be solidarity and compassion. In the wake of the tragedy that had gripped Hong Kong, a collective need to remember and honor Abby Choi emerged, transcending the boundaries of the courtroom and the horror of her demise. The city, which had followed every twist and turn of her tragic story, now sought to commemorate the life that had been so brutally cut short. Candlelight vigils sprang up across the city, from the bustling streets of Tsim Sha Tsui to the tranquil gardens of Victoria Park. People from all walks of life gathered, candles flickering in the night, creating a sea of light that symbolized hope and remembrance. Each flame was a tribute to Abby, a reflection of her bright spirit that had once illuminated the lives of those around her. Abby's friends and colleagues in the fashion and social scene organized memorials, celebrating her life and achievements. Runway shows were dedicated to her memory, with models donning black ribbons as a mark of respect. Fashion magazines published special editions, featuring Abby on their covers, her vibrant images a stark contrast to the tragic circumstances of her death. Social media became a platform for mourning and reflection, with hashtags like #RememberingAbby trending. Fans and followers shared their favorite moments of Abby, from her glamorous photo shoots to her heartfelt posts about her children. Each post was a testament to the impact she had on people's lives, a digital memorial to a life lived with passion and grace. In the midst of the sorrow, Abby's family emerged as pillars of strength and dignity. Her children, the most poignant reminders of her legacy, were shielded from the public eye, enveloped in the love and care of their relatives. Abby's current husband, heartbroken yet stoic, spoke of his commitment to preserving her memory for their children, ensuring that they would grow up knowing the warmth and love of their mother. Abby's parents, in their grief, became symbols of enduring love and loss. They shared stories of Abby's childhood, her dreams, and her journey to becoming the woman she was. In their words, Abby was not just a socialite or a public figure. She was a daughter, a mother, a friend, a human being with dreams, aspirations, and a kindness that touched those around her. As the city mourned, it also celebrated Abby's life, her contributions to the fashion world, her role as a mother, and her spirit that refused to be dimmed, even in the face of adversity. In parks, schools, and community centers, people talked about Abby not just in hushed tones of sorrow, but in admiration for her strength, her talent, and her ability to inspire. The tragedy of Abby Choi's death was a dark chapter in the history of Hong Kong, but in remembering her, the city found light. Her life, though tragically ended, continued to be a source of inspiration, a reminder to cherish every moment and to live with the same vibrancy and grace that Abby had embodied. In the heart of Hong Kong, amidst the sorrow, and the tears, the spirit of Abby Choi lived on, immortalized in the memories of those she had touched. As the city of Hong Kong continued to reel from the shock of Abby Choi's tragic murder, the quest for justice became a beacon of hope and resolution for a community seeking closure. The courtrooms, once arenas of legal jousting and revelations, now bore the weight of delivering justice in a case that had touched the hearts of many. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was tense and charged with emotion. The prosecutors, armed with a plethora of evidence and testimonies, presented their case with a solemn determination, seeking to unravel the complex web of deceit and malice that led to Abby's untimely death. The defense, in turn, navigated the intricacies of the law, attempting to counter the accusations with their own interpretations of the events. The suspects, once integral parts of Abby's life, now faced the consequences of their actions. Alex Kwong, his family, and their associates, ensnared in their own web of betrayal and greed, awaited the verdicts that would seal their fates. The public and media, hungry for every detail, followed the proceedings with bated breath, their sentiments a mix of anger, sorrow, and a deep desire for justice. As the trial progressed, the community reflected on the broader implications of the case. Abby's murder had sparked conversations about domestic violence, wealth disparity, and the corrupting influence of greed. It had exposed the underbelly of a society often dazzled by the allure of wealth and status. In cafes, offices, and homes across the city, people debated and discussed, the case igniting a collective introspection on the values and ethics of modern society. The verdict, when it finally came, was met with a wave of emotion. For many, it was more than just a legal judgment. It was a moment of cathartic release, a step towards healing the wounds inflicted by the tragedy. The sentences handed down to the perpetrators were seen as a testament to the resilience of the justice system and a tribute to the memory of Abby Choi. Outside the courthouse, as the city resumed its usual pace, there was a sense that justice had been served, albeit in a small measure, for the loss of a life so vibrant and full of promise. Abby's story, though ending in tragedy, had become a part of the city's fabric, a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring quest for justice in the face of adversity. In the aftermath of the trial, Abby's legacy lived on. Her story continued to inspire change, to provoke thought, and to remind the people of Hong Kong of the strength found in unity and compassion. The pursuit of justice for Abby Choi was not just about retribution. It was about reclaiming the narrative of her life, honoring her memory, and finding a path forward in a city that, for a moment, had lost one of its brightest stars.